Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 143 of our FC Isle of Man series. Happy Wednesday, wherever you're watching from. Happy whatever day of the week it might be, if you're watching this one on a playlist or after the fact. Now, if you haven't gone back and watched yesterday's episode and the one from Monday as well, go and check them out because they go through kind of the start to our season, our new players, our tactical tweaks, our plans for the season, our competitions, a season preview, all that sort of great stuff, which is going to give you so much more additional context to today's episode because we've got some very big games. We're not going to waste too much time though. We're going to jump straight in now and see how we've gotten on. So first and foremost, just above my head here, you can see we're up into second spot. Now that is a bit of a misnomer because we haven't played anyone that's really that you'd expect to be in the top 6, top 7 positions. We've had a very fortunate early season draw, which has helped push us up the division. But again, those are games that we should be winning regardless anyway. Man City just smashing teams at the moment. They are 3 points clear of us, undefeated. Their only draw, a 0-all draw against reigning defending champions Manchester United, who are starting to get their act together as well. So while it's great to be in second spot, it's awesome to be in Champions League places. It's effectively in a title race at the moment. I don't expect us to be there going into like tomorrow's episode, the episode after, based on the run of form and fixtures that we've got coming up. Now, our results haven't been too bad since, of course, the other episode where we played Bournemouth and Leipzig. We played Leicester in a 0-all draw, which was a game that we probably should have won. In hindsight, you can see our front three just didn't really find the back of the net or really create enough or finish those half chances, which is what's kind of got 6.4, 6.5, 6.6. Even the guys that came off the bench, Howard and Bungu, still only getting 6.6s. We really struggled to break down their defence, but it was all highlights for us, just a lot of missed opportunities. And on another day, you would think if only one player had taken a chance, we might have gotten 3 points in that one and be even further towards the top of the division. We then rotated quite heavily, played Reading in the Carabao Cup. I played pretty much full backup 11 and everybody did really well. So I left them out there for the 90 minutes, didn't make any subs, just to try and get some run in their legs as the season continues on. We did then play Arsenal away from home down at the Emirates Stadium. It was an unlucky 1-0 defeat. It was a very, very good goal from Eugenio Cairo in the 6th minute. And again, we had a lot of chances. You can see here, Peacock struggled, Ortiz struggled, Rivera struggled. When that front three isn't performing, or when any combination of that front three isn't performing, we do really struggle to find the back of the net. Again, defense did quite well. The midfield did very, very well. Henry was the player of the match with a 7.4 rating. Sometimes you just have players that aren't, finding the back of the net with regularity, and unfortunately that has happened a couple of games so far this season with that front three, but nothing to complain about. We did manage to turn that around and get a good 1-0 victory against Ufa in the Europa League, which does see us sit top of the group, continuing into another game that we've got in today's episode. And then also a good home win, 1-0, Pablo Rivera finding the back of the net against Newcastle. A Newcastle side that was pretty good. They had their chances, could have really gone either way. Thankfully, we were the side that managed to find the finish in that one. But again, like I said at the start, like Newcastle at home, Leicester, Bournemouth, Brighton, the 3 promoted teams, Sheffield Wednesday, Burnley, Wolves, like these are all sides that we should be getting 3 points again against anyway. So it's not really outside of the mold or getting ahead of ourselves too much to expect that we get maximum points in those games. It's really these matches coming up. Like we've got a run against Chelsea. We play them twice in 2 weeks for some reason in the league. Oh no, sorry, one's Carabao Cup. We've got them in the league. We've got Tottenham. We've got Southampton, United, Man City, Everton and Liverpool all before December. So I would expect during that period for us to drop some points here or there, given the strength of a lot of those sides. That does mean that the game against Aston Villa today is going to be incredibly important. And then we've also got another rematch from last season's Europa League campaign against Ajax away at the Johan Cruyff Arena. If you are a new starter of the series, last year, of course, we did play them in a knockout game. It was last week. We got through against them across 2 legs. We did pick up one of their better players in Hisham Haji, who will play for us today, and we are keeping an eye on a couple others, the likes of Sergio Smorenberg, who I think is one of the better strikers in world football. We don't have the cash to get him. If we did, we'd definitely go after him, but like as we know from kind of the earlier episodes this week, we really need to get ourselves back into a positive overall bank balance before we start looking at splashing the cash any further. And I can't really complain. We've had a variety of seasons where we have spent quite a bit of money, so eventually you do kind of have to pay for that and let the squad actually try and develop to the standard that you want. Otherwise, as far as the squad's concerned, we've got pretty much full choice lineups to pick from, which is great. And you can see here, like, we're not in horrific form over the last 5 games. Even though there have been little spells where the front three hasn't played magnificently well, we're not quite at a stage where we need to panic and start rotating different players through to try and find form and fitness again. The overall average ratings for the season are good. The average ratings for, the last 5 games aren't horrific either. So we should be able to carry that into a good home performance. We are playing Aston Villa at home. We are going to go a little bit more attacking, a little bit more aggressive in today's match with the view that if Ajax are scouting us, they probably won't expect us to then go counter-attacking away from home. So this is the lineup that we're going to go with. Mancini in goal, Mokhtar and Esteban as the defensive partnership, Carlos Andre and Fontana as the fullbacks, Henry and Lind will anchor midfield. Lind, of course, our captain for this season. I can't remember if I mentioned that earlier, but he has taken the captain armband ahead of Esteban for the year. Haji, who we picked up from Ajax last year, will play at the 10. Ortiz on the left wing, our leading assist maker for the season. Peacock, our highest scorer so far, and Rivera leading the line up top. Aston Villa playing a very deep 4-3-3. They've got one holdout from the original database. Not a huge surprise that it's one kid, Max Aarons, now 35 years of age, still plugging his way through in season 16 of this database. Still got good technical attributes, still got really good mental attributes as well, just physically that kind of like slow down that you see for pretty much all players, but still has 17 natural fitness. He will get up and down the line for them as much as they need it. And he had quite the career, left Norwich, went to Man United, spent about 10 years there. He went to Monaco for a year and has been at Villa now for the last 2 seasons in the Premier League. Their captain in midfield, we'll have to keep an eye on Niels Mortier, who is a Belgian midfielder. Looks solid, but nothing super spectacular. I think the fact that they are playing 3 midfielders kind of towards the base of midfield, they're going to be very direct trying to get the ball out of the top. So the likes of Valmy on the left wing, Silverio on the right, and this guy, Callan Apostol up front, will probably look to get released earlier in the finishing or earlier in transition. He's a Romanian international, 18 finishing, jumps out at you immediately. He actually finished as the runner-up behind our own Pablo Rivera in the Golden Boot race in the Premier Division last year. It's kind of amazing that they've kept him as long as they have. He came through the Aston Villa Youth Academy. He's now 23 years of age. Finishes at a very good clip. 74 goals in 173 games is impressive for a player that has been pretty much in the Premier Division for most of his career. He was down in the Championship towards the start, but like Villa were already back in the Premier League by the time we reached the Championship, so he's had a decent career, and he started this season well also. 4 goals in 7 league appearances isn't a bad start for the Romanian forward. They'll give us a challenge, but I'm hopeful us playing a little bit more attacking will keep the ball and keep them penned in their own half a little bit more. And if they do go long, they do go direct, we might drop off a little bit in the second half, go counter-attacking as they look to try and find goals. Assertively, we are going to say if we play our own game, we'll win, and everyone seems relaxed, which is great. As we know, when you reload a game, anything can happen. We're in decent form. We want to try and keep that form going as the week continues. We have got the ball here in a weird scenario. Mokhtar played back to him. Now Lind in midfield. Can we switch it out to the right-hand side? Peacock has gone into the channel. He can do a lot in 1v1 areas. Goes near post to Rivera, and it's an excellent goal. Only the 3rd goal of the season for Pablo Rivera, but he has, I think, a couple of different seasons now, started a little bit slow or gone through patches where he hasn't scored for a while, and then turned it on and gone on real streaky runs. He did that last season to eventually secure the Golden Boot. Hopefully that's the similar scenario here. It's a good near post run, a good near post header, and the little Mexican adds to his goal tally for the year. 20 minutes through now, next highlight starts with a goal kick for Villa. Solomka, ball over the top. You can see them trying to bring in Apostol quite early. If they have a ball forward from the centre-backs, they do tend to go long. We've managed to recover possession though. Esteban will play it out now and towards Peacock on the right-hand side. Risky ball back into midfield. Esteban with a good tackle though, manages to recover. I think it was Peacock who put it back in towards Henry. And then just a neck-high ball. There you go. You can see it immediately. Aaron's immediately looking to get Apostol in behind. And thankfully, he's just ruled out for offside. It was a good finish. But it would have been interesting to see how the keeper dealt with that had the whistle not gone. Got about 10 minutes remaining in the half. We're going to use a demand more shout here. We've only had that one highlight that we've seen for the goal itself. But again, Villa's only highlight was that disallowed goal a moment ago. Ball forward to Silverio. Now Shrimpton. Out to Max Aaron. Shrimpton again. Liversidge. Celcinho. You're just waiting for that ball over the top. Solomka with it now, looks to send it in the channel. Fontana should recover for us and plays it forward to Peacock. Nice little triangle with David Lind. We have lost out possession though. Esteban does very well to win it back in a good area. And a long ball forward of our own. Rivera with the chance at goal. Portillo with a good save. I think that was a long ball forward from Mokhtar. Just as I was kind of chastising, being a little bit ironic about Villa being direct, we've gone and done the exact same thing. But if we score, I'm not going to give a shit. I'll happily be a hypocrite. Lind, Mokhtar, and the highlight comes to an end from the corner. 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half. We're through that now. So at halftime, 8 shots, 5 on target, 69% possession, 3 shots, 3 on target, 31% of the ball. I'd love a second goal. Calmly, we're going to say I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. We just want to keep morale up as much as possible in this early part of the season and, of course, going into a big game. But if we get that second goal, I don't know if they've got 2 in them. As things currently stand, you can just get the feeling that they only need a half chance to find the back of the net with that 18 finishing up top. Speaking of, Apostol, out now left to Valmy, skips past one challenge and squares it to Apostol towards Mancini, who does well, saves on the first time and then gets down well and saves on the second as well. Thrown out now to Carlos Andre. Is that the end of the highlight, or are we going to see a little bit more here? Back to Mokhtar. This is where the vertical tiki-taka of our custom Gegenpressen / tiki-taka comes into it. And a ball over the top for Rivera. It's a good first time strike. Portillo with an excellent save, and Rivera does well to stay on his feet and slide home. Only his 4th goal of the year. Hasn't set the world on fire just yet, but maybe this is a little bit of an awakening for him. And again, it is very direct. Haji with a good assist. Good to see him getting amongst the goals created. We need that from a number 10 this season. Don't get me wrong, like Lil Barbos has been excellent since we came up into the Premier Division, but we are making that adjustment to an advanced playmaker rather than an attacking midfielder. We need someone to pull the strings and get our wingers in behind further up the park. Wide free kick now for Elliott. Backstick ball towards Apostol, and his flick-on header didn't have much pace on it. Mancini does well to save and hold. Is the highlight going to continue here? Now, Carlos Andre, similar scenario and setting to where the last goal came from. Mokhtar into Haji, who can turn. Work it out to the right-hand side now. Peacock's out there in 1v1. He's probably one of our better players in 1v1 situations. Does get tackled, but stays on his feet. Beats the man, cuts it back towards the penalty spot. And Rivera might have gone down in the box. This one's going to go to VAR, and they're going to award a penalty. This might be a great opportunity for Rivera to make it a hat-trick, and he does. Doesn't waste any time. Doesn't allow me to introduce it. Build the tension of the penalty itself. And it's a fantastic finish for the young man, and he gets himself a hat-trick. And it's a good effort, left-footed, low and hard, to his left-hand side. Keeper kind of delays his little dive a little bit, and maybe could have got there if he had to guess the right way, but I will take the goal for sure. What I think we might do is, because he's on 3 goals now, we might take him off. So give him a little bit of a spell because he's got the hat-trick, and then Bungu can come on. And then what else are we going to do? We do have to keep an eye on that game against Ajax as well, which is our focus for the episode. Peacock, not struggling, but not 100% fit. Maybe Haji. Oh, Barbosa's got a bit of a knock. Esteban, I'm kind of just throwing shit at the wall at this point. You know what, maybe we'll give David Lind a bit of a spell because he plays a lot of 90-minute games. Bring on Gary Lester, and we'll hold on to that last sub for the last 10 minutes or so. Going to hit play. We're also going to use a Get Creative shout. Hopefully Rivera gets a nice little reception from the Isle of Man faithful at the bowl. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say the bowl because it's not the bowl anymore. It's the FC Isle of Man Stadium. Deep ball from the free kick in here, and they've pulled one back. It's Jamie Wallace off the bench, who I think's come on the left wing. And it's Harvey Elliott, the current Liverpool youngster, with a good ball in. And Wallace, there's a whole bunch of bodies around there. There's 3 Villa bodies effectively unmarked. And I'm hoping that's not complacency from the side. We want to try and keep our goal difference up as much as possible. You can see early doors, we'll use demand more as we get into the last 10 minutes, but early doors, Man City already plus 20 goal difference from 9 games played. That's absolutely insane. And we're doing well to be plus 11. It must be said as well. 5 minutes of additional time. I haven't made that last sub. I probably should have. Hindsight being 2020, but that's where we're at. And a ball in now. And Bungu's done well to win it in a good area. And then oh, hang on. Johnson's made a 2-footed tackle on him after losing the ball. They might be about to go down to 10 men. Not that I think it's going to matter with 2 minutes of injury time remaining, but maybe we can try and slam an additional goal in. Deep ball in. Portilla comes out and claims. If they pick one up here, it'll be a very nervy last minute or so to the game. Long ball forward should be recovered pretty easily. Mancini's coming out to get it. Forward to Carlos Andre. Back to Mancini again. Can we work one last opportunity against 10 men? Ball out now left to Carlos Andre. He's got plenty of time and space in front of him. Sends Henry into a little channel. Does quite well to keep it. Wallace does win it back from him though. And then Henry puts it out into touch for a throw-in. Surely that is the end of regulation time or additional time. Andre puts it into Haji. Switch out towards Peacock. We've got an overlapping run in Fontana. Can we get a decent ball into the box? Try and find the finish. Ball back towards Haji, and he puts it straight at the keeper as the referee calls full time. So in the end, Rivera's hat-trick, enough to get us through. 3-1, 17 shots, 12 on target, 64% possession, 10 shots, 9 on target, 36% of the ball for Aston Villa. Passionately, we're going to say very pleased with the result and your performance, and everybody has responded fantastically well, which is exactly what we want. We've only got 3 days until the game against Villa. Sorry, not the game against Villa. We just played the game against Villa. 3 days until the game against Ajax. So I think what we'll do is first we're going to give Rivera a bit of praise. Passionately tell him that he was superb. Jamal Flassate wants to see Neil Peacock at Manchester City. Man City are very much in for Neil Peacock at the minute. But what we are going to do and focus on is throwing in another rest day for everyone that just started. And then tactically speaking, we're going to drop back to our counter mentality, which is just balanced. It's a little bit shorter of passing range as well, just so that we drop off a little bit more against Ajax away from home and hopefully hit them on the counter. But magic of editing, we're going to jump forward to that match now. All right, and just like that, we are a couple of days further forward. Now, the good thing for us is that we haven't had to change our lineup at all. We are starting to get some consistency in it. We are starting to get some form in people. A striker hitting the back of the net and getting a hat-trick, always great to see. So hopefully we can carry that on in this match. And if we do get a win against Ajax, I think that effectively secures second-round football for us in the Europa League itself. Looking at Ajax's lineup, they've got a couple of different changes. One that they've brought in here is Xavi Simons, who we've come up against a couple of different times way back when he was at West Brom a few seasons ago, also when he was at Leicester last season as well. I don't think he ever really hit the heights that are expected of him when he first was announced at Barcelona, seeing like those old YouTube clips hyping him up and whatever else. And I don't think he really ever did anything at PSG either. It looks like he struggled to make any sort of appearances for him in his youth or as a senior professional. Interestingly though, they let him go to Brentford on a free. Brentford just makes some amazing signings, to be completely honest with you, in their, like, terms of their scouting range and everything. Was at West Brom for a while, which is where I think we first came up against him. Dortmund then paid big cash for him. Shakhtar Donetsk paid a bit for him. PSG brought him back in again for £21.5 million after letting him go on a free like 10 years earlier. Then he was at Leicester, which is where we've played against him the majority of the time. And he's been at Ajax now for a couple of games as well. Van der Plas will be an interesting one for us to keep an eye on. Their number 10, 23-year-old striker by trade. They're playing him as a shadow striker, it looks like. He will likely have been Hikam Hadji's replacement for the season, or for, at least for the year after we picked him up. And then, of course, Sergio Smorenberg, we want to keep an eye on this guy because mainly, if he does well against us like he did last year, we will probably look to try and pick him up if we can raise the funds. Otherwise, it's a good side. They're playing two very, very deep line playmakers in midfield. I'm hoping that will open up quite a bit of space here for the likes of Hadji, Henry and Lin to just control possession. Hadji, of course, playing against his old club. He's been good. He's been fine. Has performed much better in the Europa League, 7.6 average rating as compared to the Premier Division, 7.06. So hopefully he can continue that today. And you can see a couple of these arrows heading up north. So he is improving quite a bit as well. Passionately, we're just going to tell everyone, assertively, let's just tell everyone what you pick up where you left off last time out. And everyone seems to have responded positively, which is absolutely perfect for us. Deep free kick, first one of the game inside 2 minutes. Ball to Xavi Simons. Hopefully he hasn't been listening to all the shit that I just spoke about him in the last game, in the build-up. But Hadji's got the ball in a good area, looks to send Rivera in the channel. It's an excellent touch around the defender, and he gets a strike away with favour to left footer, but straight at the keeper, who does quite well to save and hold from pretty close range. Do have to keep on the other result as well. Red Bull Leipzig playing Ufa. They should be beating Ufa. They're not that good. Even though we only won by a 1-goal margin, we had 15 different chances, just didn't find the back of the net. And it might be that the race for second and race for third becomes very, very tight. Even if we do lose this game, we can get dragged back into it pretty quickly. Gronover again, who gave us a bit of trouble in the first match, just puts his drive wide. Did well to cut inside Fontana though. And 30 minutes in, statistically speaking, we're on top, just that one shot. But now they've got a corner as well. Van Dam to take towards back stick. It's pinballing around and Van der Plas puts it home. There was a man standing directly in front of the keeper there. I think it was Hamada, number 4, the defender. We're going to check this out in 3 dimensions. And you can tell me if you think this is obstruction. I'm biased, so I can't be impartial. It's ball back across from Gronover. And then, literally Hamada standing directly in front of the goalkeeper. He can do nothing to go after the ball, and that's not obstruction apparently. We're going to use demand more with about 10 minutes remaining before half-time. And at least if we do go in a goal down at half-time, we know what our half-time team talk will be. Got to throw in now on the left-hand side. Carlos Andre to take. Henri, back to Andre. Now Mokhtar as he comes forward. Looks for the switch out towards Peacock, who's had a very good start to the season, but he has given the ball back to Carlos Eduardo there. Now Hamada just clears into Henri. Hadji, back to Henri. Ortiz. Good in 1v1 situations. Both of our wingers are. Can he try and beat the fullback and get a ball into the box now? Stays on his feet after getting tackled. Then skips past a challenge. Goes near post and it's managed. I think that's going to be an own goal to Den Haan, the centre-back for Ajax. But wonderful little passage of play here from Ortiz. I think he does get tackled in the build-up, but stays on his feet when Rickenberg, the defender, doesn't. And then he just goes past him like he's not even there. Swings it near post. Rivera was in the area. If Den Haan hadn't got something on it, I think Rivera would have knocked it home from a couple of yards, but he's just managed to put that one back on target and restores parity and puts us back to the top of the league. The top of the group table. So at half-time, 1-1, 4 shots, 1 on target and 47% of the ball for Ajax, 5 shots, 3 on target and 53% possession for us. A draw favours us more than it does Ajax themselves. Assertively, we're going to say it's time for everyone to dig in, give what you've got, and I'm also going to tell Rivera that he wasn't that bad but can improve. And it looks like that's had a knock-on effect for Hadji and Ortiz as well, which is great. And as we always do, we'll give it 15 minutes. We'll have a look at form, fitness, injuries, all that sort of stuff before we look at making subs. Peacock, now Lind, all the way back to Esteban. Just drag him in, boys. Or Smorenberg's won the ball back on halfway from Esteban. He's got the pace to burn, and it's an excellent save from Mancini, and Carlos Andre does well to follow up and keep the ball in play. But that's the danger. Smorenberg, very, very good. We're through the hour mark now. We're going to let this highlight play out. It's a deep free kick to be taken by Rickenberg, the right back for Ajax. It's fallen back stick, and Hamada, you kind of give him an assist for the first goal. We're going to check him out here, actually. Dutch, 33-year-old. Nothing special. 2-star cone and potential ability. He stood in front of the goalkeeper for their first goal, and he's found a go-ahead goal now after an hour in the second half. We haven't really got anyone that's jumping out as playing particularly well. We'll take off Carlos Andre and bring on Medjidou. And then Henri hasn't had a great game either. We might go with Ortiz instead, and we'll give Harrell a bit of a boost. And maybe we'll switch up to positive for the last last half an hour or so, just to give ourselves a chance at finding the back of the net. Tell them both we've got faith in them, and then I'm also going to use a get creative shout once we get through this replay. It's not a bad ball in from Rickenberg, right-sided player. Keeper can't come for it when it's curling that way, and it's actually a missed header. Who is it that missed that one? It's Lind. And he just had to get something on it, and it hits the deck really inside the 6-yard box almost. We can use that get creative shout with 30 minutes remaining. Everyone seems inspired, which is great, but we need to find the back of the net. All right, no real change. We're going to hit pause again with 10 minutes remaining. Rivera hasn't played particularly well, and Bungu can come on up top, and he's got 10 minutes to try and make himself a hero. And then you know what we might also do? We might also go to attacking, and we're also going to use a demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining of the game. Everyone seems focused, but what we need is them to find the back of the net. 3 additional minutes to be added on at the end of this one, and we're through that time now as the referee calls full time. Ajax 2-1 victors on the day. 7 shots, 4 on target, 44% possession. 11 shots, 5 on target, 56% possession for us. And while I could complain all afternoon about Hamada's antics from that initial set piece, really it was an own goal that kind of got us back into it. I can't say we created a whole bunch of chances and got robbed in anyway. I'm going to go into the dressing room and I'm going to assertively say far from pleased, and everyone has at least responded positively, which is always good to see. Xavi Simons, for all the shit talking before the game, actually got an 8.0 match rating in the Man of the Match award. Haji suffers defeat against his former club, but we will get an opportunity to try and get back above them by the end of the match. And looking forward at our current schedule, we have focused very heavily on the Europa League, and we did just play Ajax and we did just play Red Bull Leipzig. So I'm thinking what we might do is come back for these 2 games against London opposition. We're going to play Chelsea at home and Tottenham away at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, New White Hart Lane, if that's what you want to call it. And it does mean we'll have 2 games off screen. In the Premier Division, we'll have a Carabao Cup 4th round game against Chelsea as well, and also a game against Ajax in the Europa League, where we'll try and get back to the top of the group. But again, nothing to complain about. As long as we get through the group and get into the knockout stages, that's really all that we have to be concerned with. And as far as the league goes, we are still in a pretty good position. We've actually drawn level with Man City. I didn't notice that last time. So they lost last time out 1-0 to Leeds, who are sitting in 3rd position. That's absolutely insane. Maybe we are on for a title challenge. Who the fuck knows? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate the most. If you want to go that extra distance, do that extra little bit, be that kind of like elite level supporter of the channel, you can drop a like in this video, or alternatively, you can subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our future videos. We will be releasing an episode Monday to Friday every day, or every weekday, I should say, all the way up to the release of Football Manager 2021, which we expect in around late November or early December. More than anything though, I just appreciate you guys watching. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.